welcome to another class. I am truly grateful to be here with you and to be able to share my message. My darlings, before we start today's class, I would like to first remind you what I already told you about. So in the previous classes, I explained what manifestation is and how can you manifest changes into your reality. Then I shared with you a few exercises, very useful exercises that you can practice every morning and evening to actually manifest these things into your reality. Then I explained what shapes us and what has the biggest impact on our life and the person who we are today. And lastly, I explained what limiting beliefs are, how can you remove your blocks, what programming is, how can you reprogram yourself, and also what victim mentality means. Are you actually a victim or a prisoner of your own mind? Right, so in today's class, I would love to discuss about interpersonal relationships. So how can we build healthy relationships? But also I will focus on these negative aspects of our relationships with others, like why people compete with each other, why we accept some people and some ignore, and why we divide into groups. So I warmly invite you to this class. Please sit comfortably and see you in a minute. All right, let's begin today's class. Once again, I'm truly grateful for your presence and for you watching this class and listen to my messages. So, interpersonal relationships. Again, I will have to take you back to your childhood, when for the first time you have the opportunity to learn certain behaviors, belief systems of your caregivers or your parents. So, as a child, through observation and through the skill of listening, you'll be able to program yourself in certain ways. So this programming, as I mentioned before, is happening unconsciously, it's happening automatically. So most of the time we are not aware of what we are programming. Now when you know what programming really means and is, now you know how does it work. So you can be more aware of what you allow to take in and what you allow yourself to take out. So as a child, you observe your parents, caregivers, you've learned their behaviors, you've learned their way of dealing with certain things in everyday life, and you've learned also their beliefs and their traditions passed down from generation to generation. So actually, whatever you believing in today is not just up to your parents. It comes from way back before your parents, your grandparents. It comes from your ancestors. Probably they already dead. So the Middle Ages, when it was a time of the royal times, right? Royal times. So the king was in charge, was ruling the country. He had the most power and he was wanted, or it's not that he was wanted, but the way of he was living, the prosperity he had, the abundance, everyone was jealous of that. So everybody tried to be like the king. And people start believing, creating these beliefs that if you have all the prosperity, material things, material pleasures, you're fulfilling your pleasures, it means that you're rich and you'll be respected, well respected by everybody because you have the money. So it came from maybe even before Middle Ages, but it was passed down from generation to generation, and until today, the modern world works exactly the same way. So people still believe that only if you have money, you have power. Only if you have money, you will be respected. Only if you have the high position in society, you'll be well known. So, I want to tell you something. I absolutely disagree with these beliefs. However, we unconsciously programmed ourselves, and it's hard for us to now remove these beliefs and live in our own way and create our own beliefs. So, in today's class, I don't want to convince you to change your belief system. I invite you to take a deep thought on that and think what you really believe in. Because this belief system passed down from generation to generation today created so much conflict, not just within the country, but within the society of the entire world. So we can't really, it seems like we can't really cooperate with each other. What we do, we fight with one another. We accept and we ignore. We divide it into groups. And now when you go back to this childhood, and as a child you learn your parents, your caregivers' behaviors, all you do, the first time when you go outside your household, you're going to school. This is the first time when you dealing with different backgrounds, when you dealing with different environment. This is the first time when you learn that there are differences, and those differences are based on different beliefs, different traditions, because every child is raised differently, depends on their parents' beliefs and traditions passed down from generation to generation. So now when the child is going to school, in a form of communicating with others and getting to know each other, we exchange information. And we're doing this unconsciously. We just behave like we used to because this is what we've learned from our household, that this behavior is okay. So it depends on how was your upbringing like. If your parents gave you love and support, or your parents created this toxic environment for you and there was no love, there was no attention. So that depends hugely on how you will interact with others. And now if you didn't get this enough attention from your parents, what is happening when you start making new contacts, you actually automatically behave the same way as your parents towards you. So you might push away people from you. You might be closed off. You might not like to talk about yourself, talk about your passions. You might be very, very angry, but you won't speak about your emotions because normally a child will feel shy to talk about their feelings because they're not used to at home speaking about their feelings. There is no attention. So either you come from the healthy family, household, or the toxic one. This really depends on how you will behave with other children in that school. So the first contact with different backgrounds, different environment. And as you already know from probably your experience or your child's experience, we start selecting people. Like, I like to stick with this person because they will give me some benefit, or they have money, they from rich family, or they funny, whatever it is. But normally the person who comes from a poor family and they very closed off, these children, they stayed aside. And it's not really up to all the children behaving this way towards them. It's actually the manifestation of this poor person, this little child who is broken inside, emotionally closed off. Is their manifestation of whatever will happen in school and how other people will interact with them and act towards them. So if the person is closed off, is shy, and they believe, deeply rooted in their subconscious mind, is that they unworthy and nobody likes them and nobody loves them, people won't respect them, unfortunately, they automatically manifest this behavior from other people. So this is how children are bullied in school, because they unconsciously manifested these behaviors from others. However, there can be situations where the child is from pathological family, where the parents often scream at them, often beat them up, often there is alcohol abuse or sexual abuse. These children, in a form of defense, they are hungry children, and they act exactly in the same way towards others because they used to this behavior from their parents. So they think this is okay to scream at somebody, this is okay to get into arguments, this is okay to beat them up because they deserve. This is their belief system. So we can't really blame these poor children for their behaviors, because this is the way they were brought in their household. Okay, so we divide into groups for the first time in school, because we're doing this selection. I like you, I don't like you, you're boring, you're a happy person, I like to sit with you, you have money, you don't have money. So we put people into different groups, but this is happening in our head. We don't talk about this. There are some examples of people, number of people who would say this sort of things, because children normally, they don't have any boundaries. They're not used to that. I have to stop myself, I can't say certain things. They just saying things because they think it's okay to say. They can't really put themselves into someone else's situation. They can't feel someone else's feelings if they're not an empath. Children don't have the skill to analyze the situation and think what other people can feel or how can they feel. I'm not saying every child, but normally it happens very often. So we selecting people, we create these groups and we stick with this group or we stick with that group, and most of the time there will be one or two person who will be pushed on the side, who will be rejected. And as I said, this person is actually manifesting themselves the situation like this. And I remember back in the days in my I believe it was a high school, when I had a lovely two colleagues in a school and they were both rejected. And I couldn't understand why, because they both looked like very lovely people and good-hearted. So I wanted to talk to them and I wanted to know who they are and what passions they have, whatever, as you normally would talk to others. But I met with this very ugly, I would say, behavior from one of them. She was so defensive towards me, thinking that I'm trying to pull out some information from her just to misuse it and maybe laugh at her. So there are situations like this, and we have to be aware that children might act differently. So we create these groups, we're selecting people, and then we're moving forward. And then let's say we in adulthood now, and we get a first job, and now what we do, because we're so used to certain behaviors for our life until now, we encoded some unconscious beliefs, belief systems, some behaviors, thinking that those are right because nobody told us that those are not right behaviors. So we believe it's okay to behave this way. It's okay to think, to talk about certain things like this openly or being closed off. So we actually following the same pattern for years and years and years unconsciously. And now as an adult, we get the first job and the position, and now this competition begins. Huge competition at workplace. Who has better position? Who has bigger money? People, instead of cooperating, they actually working against one another. They speak in front of each other in a fun and joyful way, but behind their back, they're very sneaky. They talk crap things about them. Why this is happening? Again, it comes down to jealousy. The jealousy and these behaviors and pattern we've been following for years and years, the traditions and the beliefs that if someone has better position, more money, those are better. So instead of being happy for this person that they are successful, instead of thinking that I can be successful too, we rather talk some bad, naughty things about this person behind their back. We never tell the person in face what we think. We're scared. Actually, we are scared. Because if you talk about somebody bad things behind their back, you're actually a weak person and you're scared to face this person and tell them what you think. Tell them about your opinion. And at the end of the day, this is just your opinion. It's not necessarily the truth. So, you express your opinion to others, you should know that this going circle, if you said something bad about somebody who isn't deserving this behavior, this certain things said about them, it will come back to you in a worse way. Because if you said something to a wrong person and you never know, this person will pass that to that person. And then how are you going to look like in front of this person? So instead of competing with each other, be happy with the success of others. And then try for yourself. First of all, you have to believe in yourself that you can also be successful, that you can also have this better position. Because if you don't believe that you can only dream about it. But dreaming is not going to make you being a successful person. So instead of just dreaming about this, do something. Put in more work. Put more effort. Be more persistent. Determine. Don't be jealous and don't talk bad things about somebody who's successful because they might deserve this success. There are different situations and different examples that sometimes someone who isn't deserving the position, they get the position. However, maybe it's not meant for you to stay in this company any longer. And this is what I want to talk about now. So if you stay in the wrong workplace for too long, it means that you will create this internal conflict because something isn't working well for you in this workplace. And you know that, okay, you get the base money, you can pay your bills, whatsoever, maybe a little save, but you're unhappy there. And since years and years, you're just convincing yourself every day that you can do this, you can do this. Instead of change your job and do something you really love to do, which you're passionate about, you chose to complain every day about your bad position at work, about the little money you earn. So now, yes, we divide into groups. And yes, we do judge others. But be sure that this always comes back to you. If you judge the book by its cover without giving any opportunity for the person to show off, to show their potential and to actually make any closer contact with this person and give them the chance to open up. If you don't do this, but instead you're creating an illusory opinion in your head, and even worse, sharing with others your opinion about the person, be sure that it will come back to you in a different form. Karma comes back. So it's better to be happy with others' successes and just try to be successful as well and make some steps towards it. So don't judge others. Give them a chance. Give them an opportunity to speak for themselves, to open up, to show who they are. And then, yes, there are situations, and even better, when we are children, we don't really have this much experiences to say that, okay, I need this in my life and I don't need this. I need this people, this group of people, and this not. But when you're an adult, you know exactly, or you should know what exactly you need and you don't need, who you want to stick with and who you not. So you can be and you have to be selective. You should know where to invest your energy into and what people you allow into your world. Because if you choose to stick around toxic people, be sure that they will drag you down. They will suck off your whole energy like energy vampires. They would take away all your glow. So you have to be selective. You have to choose people you want to stay around, be surrounded by. Because at the end of the day, when you're selecting people and you know where to invest your energy into, this will only help you to grow and to evolve into the higher levels of consciousness. And obviously, it's all about this life evolution. So you want to evolve to higher levels. So that's why you should and you have to be selective. However, you cannot ignore those who shouldn't be in your circle. You have to accept everybody for who they are, because you should understand that not everybody is ready to take a step further and to learn something new, to educate themselves, to go higher in their evolutionary process. So you have to accept that, because some time ago you was exactly in the same place. And you make this decision for yourself that you want to grow, you want to develop your life, your everyday life you're living. However, this person chose to stay where they are. They're holding on maybe to the past. So let them be where they are. But if you're in such relationship with this person like this, be sure that sooner or later there will be more and more toxicity between you two. And whereas there is toxicity, you'll be poisoned, and you'll be stuck in the situation where you are without any opportunity to grow because you chose to stay where you are. You might dream about evolving, going to higher levels, but because of the sentiment and the past memories with this person is not allowing you to move forward because you don't have enough inner strength. You think you don't. You do. If you only decide to take the responsibility for yourself to move forward and without any guilt, leave the person where they are, then you can achieve whatever you want. You can go higher. Because at the end of the day, you have the power to change anything in your reality. You have the power to make the step forward and go higher, evolve in your evolutionary process. So you shouldn't feel guilty for leaving the person where they are because they chose to stay there. And even though they want you to stay with them, if you decided you want to move forward and you want to get better life for yourself, you shouldn't feel guilty. So don't. Know that some people enter our life to stay there forever, and some people, they come and they go. They have to complete their task, unconsciously, consciously, doesn't matter. They have to complete their task and they go. That's why throughout our life, we meet different people. We come across different people and we supposed to learn something from them, from the situation we're going through together, and then move forward, move on. So don't hold on to something toxic, because be sure it will keep you stuck where you are. Energetically, it will be exactly the same. So if in a childhood you got on well with somebody from your class and you fell in love with that person, as a children we don't really think about the future. We're not just yet so ambitious. So you might connect with everybody and anybody. It doesn't matter on their background. You might choose a person who is of a different background to yours, because energetically you match. You're passionate about the same thing, so energetically you match. However, you're growing up and your priorities change, and because you're from different backgrounds, you've been taught different things, different behaviors, different beliefs. So now you believe that you want to get better life, but the person stuck in their level, in their unfortunate life, because this is what they created for themselves based on their beliefs. So now energetically you don't match anymore. And what happens? Because of the sentiment, because of this past memories together, it's so hard for you to leave this person. But you shouldn't. Because everything what you supposed to be learning from this, you've learned. And now it's time for you to move on. So you have to be selective, but you cannot ignore anybody. You have to accept for who they are and where they are in their life. Because this is their choice, and they are also human beings, the same as you, experiencing human life here on earth. The same like you. So you have to accept, and you should want this from the purity of your heart. You should want to accept them. You should accept them. for who they are without judging. No matter what happened in the past between you two, maybe some toxic situation, know that sometimes something like this is needed for you two to disconnect. To disconnect because you chose different path and this person chose to stay where they want to be. Or maybe they chose different path too. So you wanted to stick together, but at the same time you dreamed of different thing, different dream, and that person about different things. So you had different priorities. And unfortunately, the energies weren't matching anymore and something had to happen. It's like a tower moment had to come in to actually disconnect you two. So whenever something like this will happen in your life, now you should know that it's not there for you to be hurt, to suffer. It's for you to teach you some lesson. Maybe for too long you stuck in some toxic situation and you didn't want to see that situation to be toxic or the person to have an effect on you and poisoning you with their negativity every day. So something like this had to happen sometimes for you to move on, finally move on and progress in life. So yes, there are groups. Yes, we accept some people and some people ignore. And now you know that you shouldn't ignore these people, even though they of the worst behavior towards you is only because they hurt themselves. People who judge others, especially behind their back, those people have the biggest issues. They have complexes. They don't accept themselves for something. They don't accept for who they are themselves. So that's why they talk crap things about other people to make themselves feel better. So now that you know, don't judge others. Allow them to be who they are. Sooner or later, they will realize for themselves if they behave in the right or wrong way. But you are nobody to judge anyone for their behaviors. You might have your opinion, but if you want to express your opinion in the face of this person. Confront them and tell them what you think. But if something isn't behaving in a negative way towards you, why would you even say any bad thing about this person? They haven't done anything to you. They maybe even tried to help you somehow. So don't be jealous of them and their life, because maybe they worked hard for the place where they are today and becoming the person who they are today. You have to learn how to wear someone else's shoes, to put yourself in different situations, in the situation for others, and try to be more compassionate, empathetic, and try to understand their feelings. Try to understand their behaviors, where they might come from. I'm not telling you to analyze every person and situation, because you might create an illusory picture of that person. But however, be more accepting towards others and try to understand where they come from and what is happening in their life that they behave this way today. So as a society, we need each other. We need each other. We need one another. So we shouldn't create this select or create this caste, this levels, higher, lower, somewhere in the middle, based on your bank account or the position you do, your occupation. Because at the end of the day, maybe you have better paid job and I have less, but with the same we're human beings, we're here to experience human's life, and I cannot survive without you, and you cannot survive without me, because we all come from the same source. We all come from the same source. So energetically, we're all connected. You might be on a higher level in your evolutionary process. I might be somewhere lower. However, I'm still here to learn and maybe one day be where you are at in your life journey. So you have to be more aware of this before you judge anybody, before you look at somebody from high and look down at them as they are worse than you. There is nothing like worse or better. There is nothing like we should more respect people who has more money or is more successful or is celebrity. Those are also people, also human beings. There is only one race, human race. It's nothing like black and white. This is just the illusory creation of the human being. There's only one created by God, by energy, by universe race, human race. And remember those words. So don't judge others for who they are and where they come from, because you do need them. What can happen, imagine, if we all become doctors? There will be not enough lawyers, not enough cleaners, not enough farmers, bankers. We do need one another. We do need different positions, different occupations. So every occupation, every position at work is needed. It doesn't matter how much money you have on your bank account. If you empty here, if you don't have any intelligence, or it's not even about the intelligence, the inner wisdom. It's about your kindness and the love you have. If you're empty of that, then you can offer nothing. Nothing. So, yes, we do compare ourselves. And it first starts actually in a childhood when parents say, look at your brother, he's doing better than you, or look at your sister, or look, this family, their daughter is better than you. And then actually we start creating this belief in us that we are not worthy. We don't deserve. We are worse than somebody. And this encoded belief sticks with us. It's encoded deeply rooted in our subconscious mind. So when we're growing up, especially in adulthood, you can see whenever you apply for any job with the belief that you don't deserve, you don't get. This is what I told you in a previous class about programming and limiting beliefs and a victim mentality. So this is where this comes from. So now when you're aware, you should know that you are enough. You are not worse, or you are not better than I am or someone else. We all need each other. We all need this tower moment sometimes. We need every situation that happened in our life for us to learn and to become the best version of ourselves. So in the future, by your all experiences that you went through, in the future, you'll be able to decide for yourself who you want to allow into your reality and who you're not allowing to. Who you need in your circle and who you don't need. But you still accept them. You still accept that they are where they are, and you love them unconditionally, and you support them. You do this because of the purity of your heart, kindness and compassion. Because once you were there too, and you've experienced this, or maybe not, you were lucky enough, fortunate enough to have this beautiful life from the beginning till now. So you don't really know, you don't have the experience of being poor or not having enough or having these complexes and not seeing yourself as a worthy of something. It might be much harder for you to understand why some people are not successful, because you're not used to this. Know, however, that you are not better and you are not worse. We are all the same, good enough, deserving people. So if you can be of service to others and you can help and support their progression, do so. But know, however, if you're trying to drag with you somebody to evolve, to educate themselves when they don't want to, they deeply wounded and they don't want to make any change, it's not going to happen. So don't try to force somebody to change their behaviors. Don't try to, and don't force people to make any changes in their life, because if they don't want to, you have to leave them where they are. But give them your compassion, give them support as much you can. But if someone is very toxic, you just have to catch your bonds and move forward. Catch your ties and move forward. So it's really important that you know we all need each other. We all do. Because we are one race. We all experiencing human life here on earth. I need you, you need me. Like an oxygen. We do need each other. We do need every position in society. Don't compare yourself to anybody, because you have this individual uniqueness about you. But you can only see this for who you really are if you work on yourself enough and you want to discover the truth about yourself and shade all those layers of toxic behaviors and beliefs and everything that you've created for your entire life, all these masks you put it on already. If you decide to shade all those masks, then you will discover the real self, the natural self. Then you will know that you are innocent, that you are pure love, that you are compassionate being, as I am, and other people who did exactly the same, worked on themselves. You are a loving creature, and you able to be successful the same as I am, or I can be, or somebody else. You have to believe in your potential. You have to believe in possibilities. Take every opportunity to try yourself. But most importantly, you have to discover who you really are. And then you will discover that actually under all these layers of the toxicity you developed throughout the entire life, you will discover that you can achieve things. You can. Just believe it. So don't be jealous. This is really bad quality. Don't be jealous of others. Shade all those masks and become who you really are. You might create your circles and stick to people who is of a positive vibes, of positive behaviors, because those only will take you with them, take you higher, help you evolve, help you develop yourself, help you discover things about yourself, help you discover your talents, your abilities. But know that those who you left behind, even toxic, you still have to accept, be compassionate towards, because one day back in the days, you were in the same position as them. So be more compassionate and accepting. We definitely should allow others to share their opinion with us. So sometimes if someone has different belief systems, if someone has different political beliefs or religious factors, then, my dear viewer, we have to allow them to speak up for themselves and take a look and listen to them and see what they're trying to say. We should be able, as an intelligent person, if you consider yourself to be an intelligent creature, you should allow others to share their opinion with you. Don't hold on tightly to your own beliefs, ignoring others' beliefs. Allow others to express their emotions, to express their point of view, because this is so useful and so mind-opening and mind-blowing sometimes. How can somebody help you in seeing bigger picture? Because if you hold on tightly to your own belief, not allowing others to share their point of view in something, their beliefs, then you closed off in your inner world. And in the same time, you're not allowing yourself to see any different possibilities, to see the bigger picture of something, to see the clarity, because you're holding on only to your beliefs. So be open-minded, be open to share your opinion with others and to listen to the opinion of others, because it can be really useful. As I said, be open-minded. We all need each other. If I would listen to only the beliefs of whatever I've learned in the childhood from my household, if I would hold on tightly to those, I wouldn't be so understanding today, and I wouldn't be talking to you, because I would never learn English just to make this effort to speak to you today about these things. I would be probably a racist, staying in Poland and not being open to diversity. So we have to be more open-minded, we have to be more understanding, we have to be more accepting. Know that if you have foreign people in your country, allow them to feel good to being there, because they learning, at the end of the day, they have to learn your language to communicate with you. You don't have to do anything because you're staying in your country, but they have to learn your language to communicate with you. So they putting effort into this. So have more respect to those. The same of political beliefs or faith. It's okay to have your own beliefs, have your own faith, but at the same time be open-minded and listen to what others want to say. Because I tell you something, in my experiences, in my life experiences, I wanted to learn about every and any religion and all the factors that people were telling me were just mind-blowing. You know, instead of looking for differences, I always try to find similarities. And I was absolutely amazed by the things I was taught by others about their faith, their traditions. And today I know that there is no such a thing as my religion or your religion. There is only one creator who created me and you, whose energy flows through me and through you. So no matter on your faith, there is many different doors to the same truth. You might take a left, I will take right, but we will meet in the same place. So no matter on your beliefs, no matter on your opinions, there should be some differences in a world, because the world will be so boring if we're all the same. So be more accepting. We do need each other. We do need the differences. Instead of looking for differences, actually look for similarities. And if you see any differences, be grateful for this. Be grateful. Because that's so beautiful that someone can have their own opinion, that can create their own beliefs. It's so beautiful. Those people are very creative and open-minded. If you're holding on to only your beliefs and your opinions, you're a very close-minded person. And you might suffer many times in life because something won't agree with your beliefs or your opinions. So it's better to be more accepting, more open-minded. You can stick and hold on to your truth, but be happy to listen to others and share your truth in a fun way so that you can build this healthy relationships with others, not the toxic ones. Not I like you, I dislike you. I love everybody for who they are, and I love their different opinions and beliefs, because it's so colorful and it's so amazing to have different opinions and beliefs. Guys, thank you so much for listening and sticking till the end with me. I'm truly grateful for your presence, and I'm truly grateful that I could share this message with you today. And I want to warmly invite you to another class. It's coming very soon, and next time I will speak about religion's factors and political beliefs. So please stay with me, and for now, take care, have a lovely the rest of your week, and stay tuned. Bye bye, thank you.